Welcome to Inquiry into Self. So, as I've been sharing, I could not experience life as a benevolent flow as long as I was not loving the experiences here that created a sense of a self. So, I had to do a full inventory of all the ways I need to bring love here. There was with my body, with my relationships, with my self-talk, and finally, with all my experiences. As long as I had a regret from my past or something I didn't want to experience happening in my life right now, there was this little thread of blame going out. There was something in the past that I thought shouldn't happen, and there was blame either towards me or towards someone else. Or there was something happening right now that seemed like, oh, this is a disaster, or this is not sufficient. This is too dangerous, too risky. Any criticism of my experience as defective or deficient resulted in blame towards me or blame towards my parents, blamed somewhere. And in the act of blaming, we can't experience love. It just doesn't work. So I had to deal with every single regret, past and present. So I went one by one by one. I made an exhaustive list of everything I thought shouldn't have happened in my life. And one by one, I did inquiry on them, until everything in my past appeared as benevolent, and everything in my everything in my present appears as benevolent. So let's look at an example. When I looked into my past, I thought, oh, I could have made more money if I didn't switch jobs the last time that I switched jobs. Then I would have stayed to get fully vested in the previous company and my retirement would be higher and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when I look at that, well, okay, there's this belief I would have more money now if I hadn't switched jobs. Is that true? Actually, I'm not certain if that's true because I did get a nice bonus from the second job, and who knows really how all that would have played out. And then I ask, how do I feel when I have that thought? And I feel defective, deficient, like I was not intelligent, like I was too risk-taking. Like, why did I change jobs that last time? And then how would I feel without that thought? Well, without that thought, there's just how much money I have. There's no projection into what I would have, because actually I don't know what I would have. There's too many other things in that whole line that happened. Lots of things that happened because I made that change. It's not like it's just one little isolated event. It changed people I met, how quickly I made the decision to leave the corporate world. I mean, it's extensive. So there's no way I could actually know. That projection is just a torture tool. We can come up with the most amazing torture tools. We think we know what would happen in the future if a different decision had been made. We don't know. So then I look at turnarounds. So I should have left that job. And yes, the next job did give me a bonus that made me feel quite free to leave the corporate world. And yes, I ended up working for Johnson & Johnson, at the time, in the 90s, I think, or early 2000s, one of the best companies to work for. I mean, I certainly had the full corporate experience. I worked for one of the best at the time. And it gave me a lot of knowledge about the medical industry. I worked for 4 different medical device manufacturers and got to see a lot of the inner workings of how that works. So that was really helpful for many things that happened next in my life. And I met people, really important people in my life. I mean, oh yeah, that was very important. So as I look and see, how things have worked out are so good. And to want to replay them some other way is just this, this habit that we get into of knowing better. There's a position of authority we get to have when we know better. But when I let go of needing to have that position of authority, and I become the one who's grateful for so many positive twists and turns my life has taken, it's really a whole different place I live from. And, you may still find that knowing better is a place of security. Oh yeah, you want to know better. You want to analyze and improve and correct and optimize. And yeah, there's a place where that happens, of course. I might use one cleaner to take spots out of my clothes and then realize another cleaner is better. But this constant position of knowing better in my life, knowing better about how I should have been parented, knowing better about every choice I should have made, that is a torture mechanism. And I know we're not trained to think that. We think it's a position of strength and intelligence. But I encourage you, step into the experiment for a while of being grateful for all the positives that have come from how things actually worked out. I've found that who I am as a person has changed so much by simply noticing that these benefits really matter most in the end. My relationships matter most in the end, not my bank account. My experiences of challenging myself, of creativity, they bring so much more reward than proving anything to other people, than achievements I could list on a piece of paper. And little things when I pause to help a child, help an elderly person, little things, they are the things that make the world a loving, juicy place. So that's how I've discovered that letting my values flow in this realm of gratitude has opened my life in so many dimensions. And it's required letting go of that optimizer who wanted to fill my head with regrets about the past and the present, and even looking into the future. And instead, live in this realm of gratitude, live in this realm of noticing all the sweetness in life. And I know you already experienced that in so many ways. I just want to validate that and encourage that and catalyze it, fertilize it, because it truly has paid off for me. It truly is a way of noticing that there is love, abundant love, embracing my life. And letting go of that critical optimizer that was full of regrets and falling in love with my experiences really became the tipping point in experiencing that the universe is benevolent.